What's going on, arcade nerds? In this video we're going to do some experimenting, okay? What we're going to do is I'm going to finish assembling this mini deflection board from Fred Konopaska. This is designed as a replacement for a Vectrex deflection board or to make your own tiny vector monitor. And I assembled it, finished assembling it, and I'm going to solder it. And I'm going to connect it to this Vectrex yoke coil. And we're going to get it working on this old security monitor. Now I'm going to turn this on. Now this is just a plain Jane security monitor that I just disconnected the original yoke coil. So now you see my dot right here, and that's all I have. Keep in mind, not all of these monitors will display a dot without the yoke coil connected. Sometimes there's a circuit where it actually needs to ring that yoke coil to make the flyback work, or so on. Okay, so let me turn this off before I burn the screen. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to run this with an FPGA Asteroids or something like that, just to see how it draws. And then I might experiment with some oscilloscope music on here. And then, once we know it works, then we're going to test it to its limits. I'm probably going to fry this. And but this is what I'm going to do, okay? For example, this Vectrex yoke coil is a 1/2 ohm by 1/2 ohm. There's 2 coils inside this yoke, okay? So what I'm going to do is, okay, and this is 12 volt, plus 12 volt, minus 12 volt input, okay? So this can handle a 1/2 ohm on the output, right? So half ohm times 12 volts, what is that, 6 watts or something like that? 6 watts is great to run something like this, but 6 watts isn't powerful enough to run, let's say, a giant monitor like this. Okay, so what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on connecting this to a full-size 19-inch yoke coil and possibly cranking up the voltage and seeing how close to full deflection we can get with this little tiny yoke. Now, with this little tiny deflection board. So I have more than one of these. I got these on the cheap, so because I opted to assemble them myself. Well, these were halfway assembled already. But so yeah, let me do some assembling here. If you don't want to watch this, skip ahead. Let's see here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now he gave me schematics, and none of the components are actually labeled, so I really didn't want to figure out the schematics. So I asked Fred, I says, hey, do you have like a picture? So I got a picture, and it's a little fuzzy, but I looked at the picture at the resistor values and just kind of popped them in place where the picture was. But because I'm lazy, but it looked like a different revision board, so hopefully the picture he gave me, so hopefully all of these resistors are in the correct spots. The camera is right in my face again, so it's kind of tough. I got my arms sticking way out and I'm nearsighted, so we'll see how this goes. Normally when I work on circuit boards, my face is like right in there. I'm too, I just can't stand glasses. I'll never wear them. I'd have to be pretty much blind before I break down and wear some glasses. I just can't stand how they feel on my face and all that. Now, I mentioned in the last video, I said, you know, this channel of mine is becoming only vectors, and I don't want to be known for that. And that's really not me. Lately it is, I guess, but you know, I want to do more all-round arcade-related things. So, can you guys stop suggesting vector stuff for a little bit? And I promise I'll try to resist also. I want to do more raster things. And here's some ideas. Maybe you guys kind of slowed down on the request of what kind of videos I'm doing. Here's some ideas. I was thinking about, you see, alright, I'll tell you what spurred this idea of mine. Recently at work, I had to fix a Ms. Pac-Man machine, and someone did the speed up mod. Not the chip version, the hardware version. The hardware version actually had a button on the control panel that would speed up the game. And something went wrong with it, and the board ran extremely, I'm talking 1/20th of the speed. It was kind of crazy. The game played, man. It actually played. Video circuit was in time. Everything was working. But was the music in the background. It was pretty cool. But anyways, I ran off on a rabbit trail. What was I talking about? Oh, if that would be kind of an interesting video, maybe to replicate that weird slowdown on a Pac-Man and see how slow we can go. Or, I don't know. Any kind of weird modifications. I'm kind of liking those kind of videos. Any kind of weird modification ideas? You know, there's something that I want to do in the future. I made a video about my quantums. I said, hey, look, my quantums put back together. And I said, boy, wouldn't it be nice if you could save the picture in your high scores on quantum. And when you guys actually sat down and wrote the code, wrote and sent me EPROMs, that if I do the hardware side, that it will actually save the data. You know, so I thought, man, that's awesome. Now, so I may do that, but I'd have to actually buy the chips and do a little research. That would be kind of a cool video, right? Okay, you know what? Let me explain what I'm talking about a little better. This damn magnetized thing here. Okay, what I'm talking about is quantum does save high scores, yes, but from the factory. But quantum, I need to solder that guy. But quantum does not save the picture you draw if you have the highest score. So that might be an interesting video, modify a quantum board. But at the same time, I've kind of been dragging my feet on a video like that because there's not everyone has a quantum, so why bother? It's just interesting, but it's not very useful. Looks like I just gotta solder this guy. I haven't been looking in the camera. Hopefully you guys seen everything that was going on. Anyways, long story short, give me some ideas on videos. Okay, I think that's about as good as we're going to get. And I believe it's all there. I did see that these spots right here is not populated, and neither is this. But I looked at the schematic and I don't think it's super necessary. I'm going to have to look at the schematic at some point and see what it is, but I bet you I could test this without any issues. So, well, let me make some plugs for my yokes and all that, and power and so forth. Okay, so let me get this yoke here. I'm going to set my meter for continuity test. And here's my pins. I'm basically just trying to find each coil. Okay, so there's one coil, and the top two are another coil. Okay, so coil. Okay, so let me set that aside, and I suspect this is the deflection board, and I suspect some of these are going to share grounds. So, to center, no, right here. Okay, here. So between here and here we have a ground. So I'd imagine that this and this and this and this are my two yoke coils. Okay. So the pinout, here's a little plug. This is actually a RGB plug that I snipped some of the plastic off of. So that'll go here, something like that. And red and green is going to be one coil. So let's pull this back. Let me solder that on. Let me zoom in a little bit. I already pre-tinned the edges of these wires. Okay, so red and green are going to be one. And I pull the other two wires. And black and blue are going to be one. Okay, and if I'm lucky, this plug right here is going to be the same pinout as, let's say, the bigger monitor. That way I won't have to change anything on that harness. We'll see though. So let me move this around. Okay, I'm going to pull this and let's stick our Vectrex yoke on. Now, honestly, I can't remember. I have to look, but I'm not going to look right now. I can't remember if the Vectrex had a 100-degree tube or a 90-degree tube. This looks like it's a 90-degree tube, but either way, it's okay. If you're going to go with color, the edges might be distorted if it's the wrong yoke a little bit, but this is just an experiment. Okay, so let's hook that up. Okay, so now we have a deflection board connected to the monitor, connected to the yoke. And I don't like this. I feel like I want to zip tie these up. They look like crap. So now all I have to do is wire up the inputs, which are right here and right here, and then give myself some power. And that's it. I think I'm just going to okay, this monitor is I did not work on the high voltage circuit at all. So as of now, the high voltage is either on or off, nothing in between. So in order to make a game like Asteroids, FPGA, or most vector games, if not damn near all, they need some sort of a Z amplifier circuit. And so instead of worrying about all that in this video, I'm going to just run oscilloscope music on this. Now, if you don't know what oscilloscope music is, stay tuned, it's pretty cool. But it never actually turns the dot off. The dot's always on, and it always draws things. And it's amazing because it looks like it's shutting the beam off and on, but it's not. So okay, so let me get power rigged up on this, and I'm probably going to run it off my cell phone, some oscilloscope music. Well, let me show you what I did here. I got a regular 3.5 millimeter audio jack. I got some spray paint on this from an earlier project way back when. But my audio jack will be able to plug into my cell phone, and I went ahead and wired it to the inputs here and here, and I just wired the ground into the regular power ground because it's the same ground all around. Now, this requires plus 12 a ground and a negative 12 from that ground's reference point. You know what I mean? But so I don't have a transformer handy to build a power circuit, normally it would be easy to do two separate power supplies, like I did here, or a transformer with a center tap, maybe 12 center tap, then you can build a diode and a filter circuit. But what I did is I got two arcade power supplies. And you may think, well, how the hell did you get the -12? Arcade power supplies don't have -12. Well, this is what I did. Both arcade power supplies have a plus 12 voltage. And let me zoom in. And what I did is I hooked this plus 12 to the ground of this power supply. You see what I mean? So right here is my plus 12, just like normal, going to the device, and my -12 is coming from this power supply. Does that make sense? So so that would give me my center and then my positive and -12. Okay, so now I have this. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I turn this on. I just have nothing but a dot in the center of the screen. Now I haven't tested this yet, but there may be an issue that may happen. Right now, the original yoke coil is not hooked up, but normally a television set, or a monitor, basically what this is, it scans across the screen, like a raster, okay. And depending on what static might be on the screen right now, or whatever, I really don't know because I disconnected the yoke. But this is trying to display a picture, and when something displays a picture, one of these displays a picture, it's turning the beam on and off. So, as it draws. So hopefully this is set to like a solid screen or no screen. Maybe it won't have any noise, but I may have noise because this is turning the beam on, off and on. But this should at least prove the concept. I have done this. If I just touch this, there, I can see some interference there, some interference going the other way. Okay, so I do know it's working. So I'm gonna get my busted up cell phone, and this is an interesting story. I bought this cell phone, and I had it for 2 days. It's brand spanking new. And a buddy of mine, he bought a house right next door to me, and he was putting a new floor in. And I walk in, I'm like, yeah, it looks good. Yeah, all right. Hey, good job. I like your floor. Well, the floor wasn't done yet, and I fell through the floor joist, and it landed on my ass in the basement. And this phone was in my back pocket. So I refused to buy another phone because this is a brand new phone, damn it. So that's that. Okay, so now we're plugged in, and I'm going to search oscilloscope music. I'm on YouTube right now, okay? I'm just going to type in O-scope. There it is, O-scope music. And the one guy on here, Jero Beam Fenderson, he does a lot of O-scope music. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and play that. I'm going to turn it up. Now, right now, if I had speakers connected, you would hear sound. There's sound that goes along with this. Oh, here. So right now we're actually playing it. It's a real vector monitor as of now. It's working. Pretty cool. You know what? I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna rig up some speakers. You gotta at least hear it. You gotta hear it. So let me get some speakers hooked up real quick. Okay, so I turned off some lights so you can get a better picture here. I do have a dot in the center of the screen because it's off right now. And all I did was I connected this speaker right here across one of the coils in the yoke. Now this music is in stereo, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use one channel because it's easier to do right now. So let me play this, and I want you to listen to this. It's kind of cool. You're only hearing half the audio right now. phone keeps messing up. There we go. Well, let me pause it. You get the idea. If you want to check out more of Jerobeam Fenderson's things, he's on YouTube and he also sells it. Oh, I bought his files. He sells his files, and you can put them and make your own, experiment with his stuff, and he even has software that you can design your own things like that. So pretty cool, pretty interesting. But yeah, pretty interesting. By the way, this was designed, let me turn this down, I don't like it like that. This was designed for oscilloscopes. Now, oscilloscope tube is really long, and the reason why it's so long is because the deflection, the type of deflection is weaker. But there is one good thing about an oscilloscope tube. The deflection is electrostatic, and my deflection here is electromagnetic. Now, you can make an electromagnetic deflection like this go really fast, but an electrostatic deflection is very, very fast in comparison to this type of deflection. So, in other words, this was designed for a fast monitor, and we are displaying it the best we can with this slow monitor. Not bad though, it looks pretty damn good. And I have run Jerobeam Fenderson stuff on color 6100s, Ampliphones. I've run it on 19V2000s, Electrohome 805, 802s. You know, I've run it on everything, and for the most part it works good. You know, but pretty interesting. Let me turn some lights on here so you can kind of see. Okay, so I guess now I'm going to, you know, I'm kind of debating, I don't know, I guess I'll do it. I don't have, see, this is plus and minus 12 volts right now, and you see it's working. Problem is, when I connect it to the large tube, I believe it will work full screen at this voltage. But the problem is, without high enough voltage, my slew rate, my scan speed will be so slow that it won't really draw things properly, game wise. So what I'm going to do is, instead of, yeah, you know what, instead of risking frying my new toy, which by the way, it's already warm, the sucker's warm already on 12 volts for that little thing. This is great for what it is, but I'm debating on not putting extra voltage to this. But I will connect it to the larger monitor just so we can see a picture on the larger monitor. So let me go ahead and hook it up, but I don't think I'm going to modify this because I think my initial thoughts are wrong. After seeing that this is a little warm, I think extra voltage is just going to trash this thing. But hold on, let me connect it up. Okay, so right now I have a Wells Gardner 6100 connected. This is just the tube, the yoke. Let me turn this down. I hate this. I'm always afraid of burning tubes. Anyways, all that's connected is the tube, yoke coil, and high voltage gauge. And the rest is just that little tiny board, a little tiny deflection board. So I'm going to play something also by Jerobeam. This is called How to Draw Mushrooms with an Oscilloscope. Now, here, this one, Shrooms. Okay, let me turn this up some. My volume up? Yeah. Yeah, at no time does the beam actually turn off. There is no Z amplifier on this. Pretty interesting, isn't it? I was actually thinking about building something like this and just putting it in the vector room, just playing off like a little MP3 player or something. Let me skip ahead to see if I can find something different. Well, I'm gonna pause it right there. I know I said earlier in the video that I was going to fry this thing. Well, right now my options are to either pump 30 volts per side to it or 12. And I feel like 30 volts is obviously going to fry it. My intentions is to see if we can get full screen on a full-size monitor, and just dumping voltage that I know is going to fry it isn't a good idea. I mean, because I know it's going to fry it. It's going to fry it. So I guess I'll make maybe another video separate where I believe I can make this full screen. It would be for a black and white. And this could possibly be a replacement for 19V2000. But I don't think it's a drop-in replacement. I think different transistors would have to be put in, and better heat sinking and things like that. But I'll tell you what, man, I love this thing. This is a cool little kit. Very cool. Anyone, even you, can make something like this, you know, in just, you know, in 20 minutes. And you can make your own little cool thing to experiment with. I know there's a lot of guys, there's a growing number of people out there that are writing software and messing around with this, which has had a huge kick in the ass by Jerobeam Fenderson. I don't know what the guy's real name is. But anyways, so have a good one. Please subscribe. Oh, you know, there's something I want to mention. One of my older videos, someone left a comment. See, I made a video that's I talked about my Frogger. I have what I believe to be a Japanese Frogger, and the name of the video is something like "Rare Frogger?" ? Well, anyways, somebody left a comment that says, "Hey, I have the mini version. Check out my channel." And so I clicked on that comment, and there's this little kid. I mean, he was probably, I'd say 8 or 9 or 10 years old. And he was so excited about his Christmas present. He got one of those little mini Froggers, and he has a very small channel. And if you could, it would be kind of nice to just give that little kid a comment like, "Hey, you know, good job," or whatever. I'll try to put a link right here. I'm still. It's been a year. I'm still trying to figure out how to do things like this. So hopefully, right here, there will be a link to that kid's channel. But have a good one, guys.